So just like the title says, this is going to be a quick tutorial on how to record Melee. Some nice things this game has are essentially cam paths, and then you can also use Reshade and get some really nice blurs with it, and there's also depth maps. The only drawback I would say from this game is that there's no slow-mo. Also, I timestamped this video so you can just skip to whatever part you want to learn. So what you're going to need is definitely multiple versions of Dolphin if you want to play Melee online or use Reshade. I'm going to have a couple of versions in the description, and this video isn't going to show you how to download or install any of those things, but I'll link a couple of videos like that. The next thing you're going to need is something to record it with, so I would recommend Fraps or Shadow Play, but you can also use OBS. Just anything that doesn't have a watermark, like please don't use Screenomatic. So I want to get this out of the way. If your main goal is just to record clips in high quality and upload those to YouTube, you can use Project Slippy, and it'll save every single game you ever play. And I want to give a big shout out to Fizzy because he's one of the people that worked on this, and he's also the reason why netplay is such a great experience today. So make sure to follow him. So you just open up the Slippy launcher, and then hit the replay browser. If you get something like this, you just have to find the folder where all your SLP files are. So let's just start a match. And I've already changed my settings, but when you first start it up, it's going to play in the lowest or just normal settings. And if you change it in Dolphin, in this version at least, it won't actually change it the next time you play it. You have to go into configure settings and then click on Dolphin. Now in here we can make changes that permanently change Dolphin, and then we can also apply some Gecko Codes. I'll speak a bit more on that later when I get to cinematics. Now for the actual act of recording, I use Fraps, but if you want to record Reshade or just not deal with the watermark, you can use Shadow Play. And all you want to do is download the GeForce experience and then go down to where it says overlay and make sure that it's turned on. Okay, so now cinematics. What do you need to know? Well, first of all, I'll just get into Gecko Codes now. So these are basically mods where you don't download anything, you just insert a code, and Dolphin itself will actually apply the mods to the game. And they're more simple mods. I have a couple important Gecko Codes, like a no-HUD one, so I'll link a text doc that has all of them that I think are important in the description. And I'll show you how to install them right now. So all you need to do is click on Show Defaults, and it's going to open up two documents. The one with a little bit of writing on it isn't important, you can just close that one out. And you're going to scroll to the very bottom of the page that has all the codes. There you just paste the code and then make sure to save the document. And once you're back in Dolphin, you want to make sure to refresh the codes. And if it doesn't show up, just reopen Gecko Codes and Properties and it should be there. So I recommend using tournament mode because you get a lot more options with the camera. And you want to make sure when you select it that you're making it English. And then go all the way down to developer mode because you get a lot more options for recording. In fact, I'll link a wiki to show you the controls it adds. Also, a big tip, if you don't have multiple controllers, you can just set up part of your keyboard as another controller so you don't have to spend money. Now by moving the C stick, you get a really smooth camera movement and it's doing it in-game, but you don't have full control on where you are, so you want to go into graphics to advanced and then turn on free look. So now Dolphin is emulating where you're 3D positioned in the game. And I recommend only using free look to set up the camera because it looks really choppy moving through space. So Faster Melee actually already has a bunch of post-processing effects in the Dolphin emulator itself. Click on the graphics tab and under post-processing there's going to be a drop-down menu and you can apply any effect you want, but keep in mind the order matters, so some effects should not be placed above or below others because they'll cancel them out. Now there's a couple of post-processing effects that don't seem to do much when you apply them. Here, like the Ishikura FX Lite, I'm probably saying that wrong, but if you go into options, you now have a lot more things to do to change the game. Like FXAA, you can put some fog in there, there's bloom, and even depth of field. So honestly, Reshade is not something you need to have. I'd say you have a lot more options with the blur when you use Reshade, but you can do most of it through Dolphin. Another cool thing you can do is change how your characters are lit. So if you enable per pixel lighting and Phong lighting, you can pick how you want your characters to be set up, and you can honestly make them look really close to how Ultimate looks. So depth as a post-processing effect isn't too helpful when you can't record the same thing the same way, But Dolphin has a thing called input recording, and it's not as helpful as a cam path, but it kind of serves the same function, where it records the same thing the same exact way. So you go to movie and then you click on start input recording. And so now anything that happens in game, the Dolphin will pick it up. So I'm just moving around to demo this. And once you're done, you want to close out Dolphin. So I just have it set up as ESC. And then you title it whatever you want. And it's kind of a breed between a demo and a cam path. Sometimes it takes a second. And there it is. Now to play it back, you have to go back into Dolphin and go to movie and then play that input recording, and then you just find it from your desktop. Now my hands are off the controller right now, and you can see that it's moving, so you can add whatever effect you want to add. So depth map is perfect because you can re-record this, and then in editing software you can add them as layers, and now you have a bunch of effects you can do. And for this last part, I want to make this as fast as possible because I don't want to make this video too long. So we have Reshade here. For installing, you want to find the version of Dolphin you're using. And then just click on open. I'm not going to do it because I've already done it. It's going to ask you if you want to install it as DirectX 11 or 12 or OpenGL. I found the OpenGL, you had the least problems with it. It doesn't matter too much. You have to just make sure that in Dolphin, you make the backend the same as the one that Reshade's using. And if you did everything right, you should get a little pop-up at the top and it should say Reshade. So let's just hop into a match so we can actually see the effects. Now before you apply any blurs, you have to set up a depth map. And always the first problem, something that took me a while to figure out, was that you get a black screen. And the way to fix that is you go into the last tab and click on the one that has the most vertices. Now most likely it's going to look a little weird, so you should go down to advanced settings and then make sure you have live preview on and that it also blends with the actual gameplay. And with live preview, you can edit it and it's a lot easier because it gives you live feedback on how you've changed it. But if you turn it off, you haven't actually changed the depth map yet. To change that, you have to go into the edit global processor definitions. So all the things that you changed in the live preview, you want to update and put them in here. So you create a new one and then you put in the variable name and then the value that you used to change it in the right. And to find the name of what you're going to change, you just hover over it. So I'm just going to speed up the process really quick. And with both of them turned off, we can see that we have a working depth map. And if you did everything correctly, you should have a working blur. Typically when it doesn't work, it'll kind of like blur everything or have everything in focus. But you can see whatever the mouse hovers over is in focus while leaving everything else in focus. I guess is the right word. So yeah, you can mess with this blur a bit more and make it look even nicer, but this is already pretty great. If you have any questions or problems, feel free to DM me. My DMs are always open. I'll also include a modding tutorial in the description for anyone else that's interested in that. But that's all. Peace.